Did you on one day during your life say, I got a choice here. Am I going to be with a man or am I going to be with a woman? Did you make that choice?
Because I explored with...
The question was, did you make that choice?
I explored other boys when I didn't know no better. But as
I'm talking about choice, not exploration.
I'm making a choice. I'm saying there was exploration with other little boys. We used to pull our penises out and see whose was bigger and whose wasn't. But when I got to an age where certain things kicked in puberty, then I began to automatically look at the girl.
So cool, but that's not the same thing as choice.
And she got over it.
But brother, that's the same thing as choice.
The information of your choice you make, you were born with reproductive organs, and so was she. That's the choice you didn't choose for yourself. Something chose that for you.
Well, brother, now you're taking it off of you. My question to you was, did you make a choice? And your question and your answer was not clear.
If we're going to equate gay rights with civil rights and it's about equality, then be prepared as a homosexual to go through everything we had to go through for civil rights. That means being put in jail, being beat, and being lynched.
A lot of the people that were lynched and who were fighting for civil rights that are black were same-gender loving people. So black people were hung and killed and murdered left and right. One of the most well-known same-gender loving people in the 50s and 40s and 60s was James Baldwin, who was a black freedom fighter who lots of black people loved, who were black freedom fighters.
There's no such thing as black rights. There's no such thing as white rights. There are human rights, there are civil or civic rights. The right to vote, the right to enter into a contract, as I put in this book, the basis of our movement. From the time they brought the first African over here, they were denied equal treatment under the law. They were denied due process under the law. They were denied equal opportunity under the law. They were denied equal access under the law. They were denied economic justice and the right to own property and pass down that property to the heirs. Those were the rights that we were fighting for. We were not fighting to be black. We were already black.
A lot of people say God don't like gays. He has the same judgment about certain sexual behavior among.
But I'm saying to you, I don't believe what you believe. Therefore, for me, the Constitution stands.
I understand that, and I don't.
And sister, I'm saying that I do not even put a lot of energy into challenging people's religion, because that's their business. But all I say in most cases when people do the judgment thing, not that you were that severe because you weren't, is the story of Mary Magdalene. So you know that story.
But that's not the issue I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of Christians say they don't like homosexuality because God hates men and women having sex together, but they forget the fact that God said if you're not married, you shouldn't be having sex together either. That's the point I'm making.
I hear you. Contradictions, hypocrites.
Right.
Well, that's definitely an issue.
If you're not married, you can't throw a rock, and that's the thing I'm told about.
Well, that's the story of Mary Magdalene.
I go witness to people, I say, well, God don't want men and women to have sex together. How you can tell them, even if they want to become Christians, that y'all shouldn't be having sex together, but there's so much.
But sister, unfortunately, that question, I can be very brief, it's always rhetorical. It's never, nobody ever waits around for an answer, meaning, how could you do that and then do this? And we should wait around for an answer instead of it being a rhetorical question.
So we can't choose how someone lives their life. We can pray for them and accept them as who they are. And eventually, you know, maybe God will touch something inside of them and they can change.
At the end of the day, you say that we got to pray for them, they can change.
Yes, they can.
Well, if brother's making a declaration, this is who he is, why he got to change?
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, if I'm a Christian now, I mean, you know, it's interesting because again, I'm a Christian too, but we got to figure out how we love folk because Christianity is and I am one of the hardest religions. I mean, if you join or don't believe, you're going somewhere. I mean, I believe draw me in because it's a good thing, because it's the right thing to do.
I'm not asking for your prayers. I don't believe in your God.
Okay.
You hear me? And I'm not apologizing for it. What I do expect is that my rights be respected under the Constitution of this country. That's the only document that we all have in common. We might not have religion in common. We might not have color in common. We might not have gender preference in common. We might not have neighborhood in common. There's a whole lot of things we don't have in common. But we have the Constitution in common. to protect our rights as citizens.
I never compared the Black civil rights movement to same-gender loving civil rights movement. I agree that that's ridiculous. But what I do agree with is that human beings should have a right to have rights with their way of loving and be treated decently. I think people should come out of their conditioning and training and learn what the reality is among human beings. For example, we're conditioned to think that heterosexuals do nothing but reproduce 24/7. So therefore, people who don't reproduce 24/7 should not get the same rights. Well, heterosexuals do not produce 24/7. Maybe 7, but not 24/7. So that's a myth in terms of why people are taking these positions that they're taking. My whole reason for doing the work that I do is to resolve the conflict among Black people, to help elongate Black life. Because I don't know how many people work in health, but we're dying prematurely. A lot of us don't even see 60. Across the economic spectrum, you heard of Bernie Mac. He wasn't even 60. And you're Michael Jackson. We can go on with all these Black people that have died. So if you care about Black people and Black life and Black human beings and Black humanity is important to you, we got to change our ways and do whatever it takes to be healthy, powerful, decent, productive human beings.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So where are you going to take this?
My work is centered around Black critical thinking and problem solving and conflict resolution between our differences that has us so unfocused that we don't take care of ourselves. That's what my work is about. It's not about, I'm here today and I can talk about homosexuality on Thursday and being a Black man on Friday, or both on that day, and talk about Black community empowerment and advancement on the next day or on the same day. So I want to be real clear that I'm not just on the subject. And critical thinking is one of the things missing from our community as a norm. We live based on mythology often, and what we heard from Aunt Gertrude or somebody. Right, but most cultures have not been culturally disrupted though. Culturally disrupted. And Chinese know their last name. You know, people from Sweden know their last name. We don't know our last name. So the whole bubble and frame that we live in is not culturally affirming or informed.
I don't fully agree with your motivation for your mission, but I agree in your I support your mission. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Is there any within your movement any like advocacy spaces
to look at alternative ways to get the same thing?
To explain the ways how to get all the things that you want done without worrying about.
Not in my movement. My movement is not centered around this issue. But I want to be real clear. I'm not a gay rights. That's not what I do.
Okay.
I can address it,
right,
but that's not what I live for. There's other people doing that all day, 24/7, and that's what they get to do in terms of something called gay marriage. I have not really been motivated to address that issue.
Okay.
But I do know as an observer that there are people that talk about alternative ways to get the same thing.
Right.
But what people are contesting is having to do any kind of alternative anything. They want to be to do the same thing everybody else do.
I understand that. But I mean, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm saying that the struggle is a bit to just walk on in and flow, as opposed to going around up in the tree and around the corner,
right,
because of some discrimination.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good.
And I also work in health by also getting people to unlearn negative behaviors that put them at risk for different health problems.
Right. I understand exactly what you were saying, because both my parents died in their 60s. And that just amazed me. And it wasn't from, bad living or anything like that. It was just basically just the life.
Stress.
And the stress that Black people have to go through.
That's right.
Well, that was an excellent job, man.
Thanks, man.
I really enjoyed it. It was very insightful.
I appreciate the feedback, man.
On some of the young brothers that I come in contact with.
Oh, cool.
Keep up the struggle, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
All right.
All right.